Imagine this, you're stuck on the side of a dusty highway, your car's broken down, your kids are cranky, and you're miles from anywhere. You're starting to lose hope. When suddenly, a familiar face pulls over. Not just any face, Tom Hanks, America's favorite everyman, steps out of his car, ready to save the day. Sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood movie, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into an incredible, heartwarming story about how Tom Hanks went above and beyond to rescue a stranded family on their road trip. This is a tale of kindness, surprises, and a celebrity who proves he's just as heroic off-screen as he is on it. So, grab a snack, hit that like button, and let's hit the road. Tom Hanks has been a household name for decades. From his Oscar-winning roles in Forrest Gump and Philadelphia to his voice as Woody in Toy Story, he's the guy we all feel like we know. He's the neighbor you borrow a lawnmower from, the uncle who tells the best stories at Thanksgiving. But what makes this story so special is how it shows Tom Hanks living up to that reputation in the most unexpected way. Today, we're not just talking about his movies or his awards. We're talking about a real-life moment that left a family speechless and has the internet buzzing. What exactly happened on that lonely stretch of road? And why is everyone saying this is Tom Hanks at his absolute best? Stick around, because you won't believe how this story unfolds. Before we get to the heart of this incredible tale, let's set the stage. Who is Tom Hanks, really? And why does a story like this hit us right in the feels? Let's take a quick trip down memory lane to understand why this man's actions mean so much. Tom Hanks burst onto the scene in the 1980s with his boyish charm in films like Splash and Big. Back then, he was the goofy, lovable guy who could make you laugh until your sides hurt. But by the 90s, he transformed into something more, a storyteller who could make you cry, cheer, and believe in the goodness of people. Forrest Gump showed us his heart, Saving Private Ryan showed us his grit, and Castaway showed us his raw determination. The man has 2 Oscars, a Golden Globe, and a spot in the hearts of millions. But here's the thing, Tom Hanks isn't just a star on the screen. Off-screen, he's known for being one of the most down-to-earth guys in Hollywood. You've probably seen the stories. Tom Hanks crashing a couple's wedding photos in Central Park, just to say congrats. Or the time he sent a typewriter to a fan who wrote him a letter. There's even a story about him returning a lost student ID to a college kid, with a sweet note attached. This is a guy who doesn't just play heroes, he lives like one. So, when we heard about him stopping to help a stranded family, it didn't sound like a stretch. But what makes this story stand out is the way it happened. And the little details that make it so unforgettable. Let's dive in. Picture this, it's a scorching summer day in 2024, somewhere along a remote stretch of Highway 50 in Nevada, known as the loneliest road in America. The Johnson family, Mark, Lisa, and their 2 kids, Emma and Ethan, are on a cross-country road trip. They're headed to visit grandparents in Colorado, with a minivan packed with snacks, suitcases, and dreams of adventure. But about an hour past a tiny town called Ely, disaster strikes. Their van starts making a weird noise, the engine sputters, and before they know it, they're pulled over on the side of the road with a smoking hood and no cell service. They're stuck, with no cars in sight and the sun beating down. Now, if you've ever been stuck on a road trip, you know how stressful this is. You're thinking, how are we gonna get out of this? Is help even coming? For the Johnsons, it's even worse. They've got 2 young kids, limited water, and no idea how far the nearest town is. Mark tries to flag down the occasional passing car, but nobody stops. Lisa's checking her phone, hoping for a signal. The kids are getting restless. Hours pass, and they're starting to wonder if they'll be out there all night. But then, something incredible happens. Just when the Johnsons are at their wits' end, a black SUV slows down and pulls over about 50 yards ahead. The driver's door opens, and a man steps out. He's tall, wearing a casual t-shirt, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low. At first, the family doesn't think much of it. Maybe it's just a good Samaritan, or someone curious about their situation. But as he walks closer, Lisa squints and whispers to Mark, "Is that?" "No, it can't be." Mark shakes his head, but then the man takes off his sunglasses, flashes a warm smile, and says, "Looks like you folks could use a hand." And that's when it hits them, they're face to face with Tom Hanks. Can you imagine? You're stranded in the middle of nowhere, and Tom Hanks shows up like he's walking out of one of his movies. The Johnsons are floored. They're thinking, is this a prank? Are we on a hidden camera show? But no, it's really him. And here's where the story gets even better. Tom doesn't just say hi and leave. He rolls up his sleeves and gets to work, determined to help this family get back on the road. But what exactly did he do? And why was he even out there in the first place? Let's keep going, because this story has some surprises you won't see coming. So, Tom Hanks starts by asking Mark what happened with the van. Mark explains the weird noises and the smoke, and Tom, get this, pops the hood and takes a look. Now, Tom's not a mechanic, but he's got that can-do attitude we've seen in films like Apollo 13. He's poking around, asking questions, and even cracking a few jokes to keep the kids calm. Emma, who's 10, is starstruck and keeps whispering to her brother, "That's Woody." Ethan, who's 7, is just excited that someone's finally helping. Meanwhile, Lisa's snapping sneaky photos, thinking, nobody's gonna believe this. And let me tell you, those photos? They're real. Okay, not real, because the Johnsons haven't released them publicly yet, but according to their story, Lisa got a few shots of Tom helping out. They're blurry, taken from a distance, but you can tell it's him. That iconic smile, that relaxed posture, it's Tom Hanks in full hero mode. But here's where things get interesting. Tom realizes pretty quickly that the van's not going anywhere without a tow truck. The radiator's shot, and they're too far from a repair shop to limp along. So, what does he do? He doesn't just call for help and bounce. Oh no. Tom Hanks goes full Forrest Gump and decides to make this family's day. Tom invites the Johnsons to sit in the shade of his SUV, where he's got a cooler full of water and snacks. He hands out bottles of water, some granola bars, and even a couple of apples for the kids. Then, he starts chatting with them like they're old friends. He asks Emma and Ethan about their road trip, what they've seen so far, and if they like camping. Emma, who's a huge Toy Story fan, musters up the courage to ask, "Are you really Woody?" Tom laughs and says, "Well, I lend him my voice, but I think he's got a lot more cowboy in him than I do." The kids are eating it up, and for a moment, the stress of being stranded melts away. This is the kind of thing that makes Tom Hanks so special. He's not just helping with the car, he's making sure this family feels safe, cared for, and even a little bit happy in a really tough moment. But here's the twist, why was Tom Hanks even out there? Highway 50 isn't exactly a hotspot for celebrities. It's not like he was filming a movie or attending a red carpet event in the middle of the Nevada desert. So, what's the deal? Well, this is where the story takes a turn that'll make you smile even more. According to a source close to the situation, and trust me, we've been digging for details, Tom Hanks was on his own road trip of sorts. You see, Tom's a huge space enthusiast. He's narrated documentaries, produced The Moonwalkers, A Journey with Tom Hanks about the Apollo missions, and even played astronaut Jim Lovell in Apollo 13. Apparently, he was driving through Nevada to visit a friend who works at a remote observatory, where they were planning to check out some telescopes and talk about, the mysteries of the universe. Classic Tom Hanks, right? So, he's out there, minding his own business, when he spots the Johnsons' van and decides to pull over. Now, let's pause for a second. Think about this. Tom Hanks could have kept driving. He's a busy guy, movies to make, documentaries to narrate, typewriters to collect. But he didn't. He stopped, got out of his car, and spent over an hour with this family. That's the kind of thing that makes you wonder, is Tom Hanks just too good to be true? Or is he really this amazing in real life? Let me know what you think in the comments below, because I'm dying to hear your thoughts on this one. Back to the story. Tom realizes the Johnsons need more than water and snacks, they need a tow truck and a way to get to the nearest town. So, he pulls out his phone and, lucky for them, he's got a signal. He calls a towing company he knows from a previous trip through the area, because, apparently, Tom Hanks has tow truck contacts in Nevada. Who knew? He arranges for a tow truck to come out, but here's the kicker, the nearest town with a decent mechanic is 45 minutes away, and the tow truck can't take the whole family. They're looking at splitting up or waiting hours for another solution. That's when Tom does something nobody expected. Tom Hanks looks at the Johnsons and says, "Why don't you all hop in my car? I'll drive you to town, and we'll make sure you're taken care of." The family is stunned. Mark's like, "Are you serious?" Lisa's thinking, "We're about to ride with Tom Hanks?" The kids are already grabbing their backpacks, ready to go. And just like that, Tom Hanks turns their nightmare into the road trip story of a lifetime. They pile into his SUV, and off they go, with the broken-down van left behind for the tow truck to handle. Okay, let's just take a moment to appreciate this. The Johnsons are now cruising down Highway 50 with Tom Hanks as their personal chauffeur. Can you imagine the group chat blowing up when they tell their friends? But here's where the story gets even more heartwarming. During the drive, Tom doesn't just sit there quietly. He's engaging with the family, telling stories, and making sure they're okay. And there's one moment in particular that Lisa later said she'll never forget. Want to know what it was? Stay with me, because this is the part that'll give you goosebumps. As they're driving, Emma, the 10-year-old, starts talking about how she wants to be an actor when she grows up. She's a little shy at first, but Tom picks up on it and starts giving her advice. He tells her about his early days in theater, how he got nervous before auditions, and how he learned to believe in himself. He says, "You don't have to be perfect, Emma. You just have to be brave enough to tell your story." Lisa, who's sitting in the front seat, says she teared up hearing this. Here's this Hollywood legend, taking the time to inspire her daughter in the middle of a random road trip rescue. It's the kind of moment that sticks with you forever. I mean, come on. How do you not love this guy? Tom Hanks isn't just helping them get to town, he's giving them a memory they'll be telling their grandkids about. But the story's not over yet. There's one more surprise that makes this whole thing even more incredible. And let me just say, it's the kind of thing that'll make you believe in the power of kindness. But before we get there, what do you think about Tom's advice to Emma? Have you ever gotten life-changing advice from someone unexpected? Drop it in the comments, because I'm loving these stories. So, Tom drives the Johnsons to a small town called Austin, Nevada, where there's a mechanic who can take a look at their van once the tow truck brings it in. The family is beyond grateful, shaking Tom's hand, hugging him, the whole 9 yards. Tom's being his usual humble self, saying, "No big deal, just glad I could help." But as they're saying goodbye, Lisa notices something odd. Tom's talking to the mechanic quietly, and it looks like he's handing him something. She can't quite make it out, but it feels like there's more to this than a simple drop-off. And she's right. Here's where things take a turn that nobody saw coming. After Tom leaves, the Johnsons settle in at a nearby diner to wait for their van to be fixed. They're expecting a hefty bill, radiator repairs aren't cheap, and they're already stressed about the cost of their trip. But when the mechanic calls them back to the shop, he drops a bombshell. The repair is already paid for. Not just the tow, not just the parts, the entire bill, covered. And guess who took care of it? You got it, Tom Hanks. The mechanic tells them that Tom slipped him his credit card before he left and said, "Take care of these folks, whatever it costs." The Johnsons are speechless. They try to call Tom to thank him, but he's already back on the road, probably stargazing with his observatory buddy. Lisa says it was like something out of a movie, except this time, Tom Hanks wasn't acting. He was just being himself. And that's not even the end of it. There's one more detail that makes this story go viral. A few days later, Lisa posts about the experience on social media, keeping it vague to respect Tom's privacy but sharing enough to get people talking. She writes, "We were stuck in the desert, and a certain someone made sure we got home safe. You know who you are, thank you." The post starts picking up traction, and soon, people are connecting the dots. Comments flood in, "Was it Tom Hanks? Sounds like something he'd do." Before long, local news picks up the story, and it spreads like wildfire. Everyone's talking about how Tom Hanks quietly saved the day for a family he didn't even know. And that's when the internet does what it does best, it goes wild. People are sharing their own Tom Hanks stories, from chance encounters to random acts of kindness. One person writes about how Tom bought coffee for everyone in line at a cafe. Another says he stopped to help change a flat tire in LA. It's like the world suddenly remembers why we all love this guy. But here's the question, why does a story like this hit us so hard? Is it because it's Tom Hanks, or is it something bigger? Let's talk about it. For the Johnsons, this wasn't just about getting their van fixed or hitching a ride with a celebrity. It was about a moment of genuine human connection. Lisa later said in an interview with a local paper, "He didn't have to stop. He didn't have to pay for anything. But he did, and it reminded us that there are still good people out there." The family made it to Colorado, where they told their grandparents every detail of their adventure. Emma's now determined to pursue acting, inspired by Tom's words. And the van. It's running better than ever. And that's the climax of this story, not just the rescue, not just the paid repair bill, but the ripple effect of Tom Hanks' kindness. It's a reminder that even the biggest stars can make a difference in the smallest moments. Tom didn't do this for publicity. He didn't post about it or brag to the press. He just saw a family in need and stepped up. And in a world that can feel chaotic and divided, that's the kind of story that restores your faith in humanity. Don't you agree? Tell me in the comments, what's a random act of kindness you've seen or experienced that stuck with you? Since this story broke, Tom Hanks hasn't commented on it directly, which is classic Tom. He's busy with projects like narrating the nature documentary The Americas, working on new films, and, probably helping more strangers in his spare time. But the Johnson story has sparked a conversation online about the power of small gestures. People are sharing their own experiences, and it's turning into this beautiful movement of positivity. And honestly, that's the real magic of this tale. So, there you have it, the heartwarming tale of how Tom Hanks turned a family's road trip nightmare into a memory they'll cherish forever. From stopping on a lonely highway to paying for their repairs, he proved once again why he's America's favorite everyman. This story isn't just about a celebrity doing a good deed. It's about the way kindness can change lives, inspire others, and remind us all to look out for each other. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now. Let's recap the highlights: a stranded family, a Hollywood hero, a generous gesture, and a story that's got the internet buzzing with love for Tom Hanks. It's the kind of tale that makes you want to hit the road and spread a little kindness yourself. So, what did you think of this story? Is Tom Hanks officially the coolest guy in Hollywood? Have you ever had a celebrity encounter that blew your mind? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. If you loved this story as much as I did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of celebrity news. Up next, we're tackling another wild story. Think secret celebrity friendships and a scandal that's got everyone talking. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep spreading kindness, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay awesome.